First contact. Alan Foster squinted at the computer screen, rubbing his tired eyes. For 3 nights straight, he had analyzed the strange radio signals coming from deep space. The observatory was quiet at 2 a.m., with only the soft hum of equipment keeping him company. "This can't be right," he muttered. His phone buzzed. It was Lisa Winters calling from the West Coast Observatory. "Alan, are you seeing what I'm seeing?" Lisa's voice trembled with excitement. "If you mean patterns that shouldn't exist naturally, then yes," Alan replied. "These signals repeat in mathematical sequences, prime numbers, then Fibonacci." "Exactly. I've run it through every analysis program. This isn't random cosmic noise or pulsar emissions." Alan leaned back in his chair, heart racing. "Lisa, we need to be absolutely certain before we say anything. I already sent the data to 3 other observatories. They confirm our findings." The next morning, Alan and Lisa presented their discovery to the International Astronomical Union via video conference. Scientists from around the world listened intently as they explained the signals detected from a star system approximately 42 light-years away. "The pattern suggests intelligence," Lisa explained. "The signals contain mathematical constants universal to all civilizations that understand math. Pi, the square root of 2, the fine structure constant." The news leaked quickly. Within days, headlines around the world announced, "Are we not alone?" and "Signals from the STRs. First CONTCT." People reacted with both excitement and fear. Religious leaders offered varying interpretations. Stock markets fluctuated wildly. Governments released careful statements urging calm. At NASA headquarters, a team of linguists, mathematicians, and astronomers worked around the clock to decipher more complex patterns embedded within the signal. Peter Johnson, a cryptologist with government clearance, made the breakthrough during the second week. "It's a message," he announced to the assembled team. "And it's a warning." The room fell silent as Peter displayed his findings on the main screen. The decoded message was simple: "Remain silent. Do not respond. Observation in progress." "What does that mean?" asked Dr. Maria Garcia, the team leader. "It means someone out there doesn't want us broadcasting our presence," Peter replied. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session. Representatives debated the implications of the message and whether Earth should respond. "This could be a trap," argued the Russian delegate. "Perhaps they wish to locate civilizations that respond. Or it could be a genuine warning," countered the representative from Kenya. "Perhaps responding exposes us to some danger we don't understand." The Chinese delegate leaned forward. "Maybe they are testing our obedience. Do we follow instructions from unknown entities?" While governments debated, public opinion divided. Protests erupted outside space agencies worldwide, with some demanding immediate response and others urging caution. In his small apartment, Alan Foster couldn't sleep. He stared at the night sky through his window, thinking about the message. Something about it bothered him. Why warn us not to respond unless they knew someone might be listening for our response? He wondered aloud. He called Lisa. "I think there's more going on here." The warning itself reveals something. It suggests there are different factions out there. One group sending warnings, another group listening. "Like someone telling us to hide?" Lisa asked. "Exactly. And that means we need to know who's out there and why they want us quiet." The next day, a new signal arrived from a different direction in space. This one required no decoding. It was clearly designed to be understood immediately. The message was brief. "Humans of Earth, you have been kept in the dark. The choice to remain so is now yours." The debate about humanity's response grew more urgent. Earth stood at a crossroads, facing a decision that would forever change its place in the cosmos. Saltik adjusted the sensitivity on his monitoring equipment, carefully tracking the human communications that had exploded across Earth following the detection of the warning signal. From his hidden observation post orbiting Jupiter, He had witnessed every major human development for the past 27 Earth years. He sighed, a gesture he had unconsciously adopted from studying humans. The situation was developing exactly as he had feared. The warning signal had come from the Protectors, a splinter faction of his own species, the Vordari. They meant well, but their interference might accelerate the Galactic Council's timeline. Zaltik's neural implant flashed with an incoming transmission. His supervisor, Grand Observer Vexnar, appeared in his mind's view. Report on the human response, Vexnar demanded without greeting. They decoded the warning faster than predicted. Zaltik replied. Their global communication networks spread the information within days. They are debating whether to respond. Vexinar's face heightened. The Council is most displeased. Your task was to ensure Earth remained unaware of other intelligent life. With respect, containment became impossible once the Protectors sent their message. Your sympathy for these humans has been noted in previous reports, Observer Zaltik. Remember your duty to the Vordari and the Council. After the transmission ended, Zaltik reviewed his earliest records of Earth. 63 years ago, a Vordari deep space survey vessel had detected unusual radio transmissions from a small blue planet. Initial scans showed a young technological species that had not yet reached their nearest satellite. The Galactic Council, dominated by the Vordari, and 4 other ancient species, had immediately implemented standard quarantine protocols. Earth was classified as a developing world, to be studied but not contacted until they developed faster-than-light travel independently, something the Council secretly ensured would never happen. Zaltik remembered his first assignment to Earth. He had expected a primitive outpost, but instead found a vibrant, creative species that had gone from basic flight to space exploration in less than a century. Over the decades, he had watched humans advance despite the subtle technological suppression implemented by Council agents. Key scientists experiencing mysterious failures, critical research facilities suffering accidents, rare resources being depleted before humans could fully utilize them. Yet humans always adapted and found alternative solutions. Zaltik pulled up recent data on human technological progress. Their advances in computing, material science, and energy systems were accelerating beyond Council projections. The human named Lisa Winters had nearly discovered the principles behind gravitational manipulation last year, before her laboratory lost funding. He zoomed his observation equipment toward North America. Focusing on the home of Alan Foster, the astronomer was on his balcony, telescope aimed at Jupiter, almost directly at Zaltik's position. The human couldn't possibly see the cloaked station, yet Zaltik felt exposed. His monitoring systems alerted him to a new development. The humans had received the second message, the one from the Enlighteners, a third faction that believed in bringing all species into the galactic community. The political situation was growing more complex. The official Council policy maintained isolation. The Protectors wanted to warn humans to hide from Council attention. The Enlighteners sought to invite humans to join galactic society, and Zaltik found himself increasingly torn between his duty and his admiration for humanity. His decision came when sensors detected unusual energy readings from a research facility in the human nation called Canada. Scanning the facility, he found what the Council feared most. Humans had independently developed the beginnings of a gravity manipulation device, the precursor to faster-than-light travel. The Council would soon move from passive suppression to active intervention. Humanity's time was running out. Zaltik reached for his emergency transmitter. Breaking all protocols, he prepared a message of his own to send to Earth. Kelly Martinez wiped sweat from her forehead as the team prepared for the test flight. The NSV Horizon sat on the launch pad, gleaming in the morning sun. After 5 years of work, her revolutionary propulsion system was ready for its first real test. All systems go, reported her assistant through the headset. Weather conditions optimal. Kelly nodded, her eyes fixed on the monitors. The Horizon wasn't just another spacecraft. It used her gravitational wave propulsion system, technology that had come to her in what she could only describe as a moment of inspiration 3 years ago. "Begin countdown," she ordered. In the control room, dozens of engineers and scientists watched anxiously. NASA officials stood in the back, alongside military observers and government representatives. Everyone knew this test could change humanity's future in space. 10, 9, 8. Kelly's hands tightened around the edge of her console. 3, 2, 1, ignition. The horizon lifted off smoothly, but instead of the usual fire and smoke of rocket launches, it rose with an eerie bluish glow surrounding its hull. The craft accelerated far faster than predicted, reaching orbital velocity in minutes rather than the expected quarter hour. "Incredible," shouted Greg Turner, the lead physicist. "The gravitational field is stable at 115% of predicted strength." The room erupted in cheers as the horizon not only achieved Earth orbit, but continued accelerating. Within 2 hours, it had reached the moon, a journey that normally took days. "We did it," Kelly whispered, tears in her eyes. 3 days later, as the horizon continued its extended test by approaching Mars, Greg Turner made an unexpected discovery. "Kelly, look at this," he said, pointing to a strange reading on his energy scanner. "I've been picking up odd fluctuations near Jupiter. Solar flares, or maybe interference from Jupiter's magnetic field," Kelly suggested. "No," Greg shook his head firmly. "These are artificial. The energy signature matches what the horizon generates, just much more sophisticated." They brought their findings to Captain Susan Wright, the astronaut selected to lead the first crewed mission of the horizon once testing was complete. "You're saying there's alien technology near Jupiter?" Susan asked skeptically. "It's cloaked somehow," Greg explained. "But our new sensors can detect the gravitational distortion it creates. If someone's watching us from Jupiter, we should pay them a visit," Susan said, her expression hardening. "How soon can we prepare for a crewed mission?" The answer was 2 weeks. Despite objections from government officials concerned about the mysterious warning messages, the mission was fast-tracked. The world needed answers. The Horizon Aya, an improved version with a crew cabin, launched with Captain Susan Wright and a team of 4 specialists, including Kelly and Greg. Approaching Jupiter's orbit, Susan announced 5 days later, "Greg, any sign of our mystery observer?" "There," Greg pointed to a screen showing gravitational distortions, in orbit around one of the outer moons. Susan guided the ship toward the coordinates. As they approached, something remarkable happened. A section of empty space shimmered and revealed a structure the size of a small space station. "They're dropping their camouflage," Kelly whispered. A transmission came through their communication system. "Human vessel, you have advanced more quickly than anticipated. Please dock at the indicated port. I have been observing your species and must speak with you urgently." The crew exchanged nervous glances. "It could be a trap," warned Security Officer Paul Davis. "Or our only chance to learn the truth," countered Susan. "We came for answers. Let's get them." The Horizon Aya docked with the alien station. When the airlock opened, they faced a tall, slender being with iridescent skin and large, expressive eyes. "I am Zaltik," the alien said in perfect English, "and you are all in grave danger. The Galactic Council has noticed your technological leap, and they will not allow it to continue." Susan stepped forward. "We have questions." "And I have answers," Zaltik replied. "But we must hurry. My people will soon discover I have revealed myself to you." Zaltik led the human crew through curved corridors lined with pulsing lights. The station hummed with quiet energy as they entered a circular chamber with a holographic display showing Earth at its center. "This is my observation post," Zaltik explained. "One of 17 monitoring stations placed throughout your solar system." Captain Susan Wright studied the alien carefully. "Why have you been watching us?" "Please, sit." Zaltik gestured to seats that emerged from the floor. When everyone was seated, he touched a control panel, and the hologram expanded to show hundreds of star systems. "What I am about to tell you violates every protocol of the Galactic Council," Zaltik began. For over 4,000 years, 5 advanced species have controlled all interstellar travel and trade. My people, the Vordari, are among them. The hologram highlighted dozens of planets in different colors. These red worlds are species like yours, developing civilizations that have been placed under quarantine. Kelly Martinez leaned forward. Quarantine. For what reason? The official explanation is protection, to shield developing worlds from cultural shock and exploitation. Zeltik's large eyes blinked slowly. The truth is more troubling. He touched another control, and the hologram showed a timeline of human development with curious gaps and setbacks. Your species should have developed faster than light travel 30 years ago. The Council has actively suppressed your technological advancement. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Greg Turner broke the silence. The warning signals. Were they from your council? No. There are factions among my people. The Protectors sent the first warning, believing isolation protects you. The Enlighteners sent the second, opposing the Council's methods. And which faction are you with? Susan asked sharply. I was a loyal Council observer for many years, but watching humans overcome every obstacle placed in your path changed me. Zeltik's voice carried an emotional weight. Your creativity, your persistence, it is unlike anything in the known galaxy. Paul Davis, the security officer, crossed his arms. So these advanced species are afraid of competition. Yes, the 5 ruling species maintain their power by controlling which technologies spread beyond their worlds. They fear humans most of all. Why us specifically? Kelly asked. Zaltik activated another display showing human brain activity compared to other species. Your neural patterns are unique. You make intuitive leaps that our logic-based minds cannot. Kelly, your gravitational propulsion system. It should have taken another century to develop. The Council was alarmed. The hologram shifted again, showing 5 massive ships moving toward the solar system. The Council has dispatched an intervention fleet. They will arrive in 6 months. Standard procedure is to destroy all advanced technology and introduce subtle genetic modifications to limit future development. Susan stood up, fists clenched. They plan to sabotage our entire species. It has been done to others. Some worlds have been reset multiple times, never knowing what was taken from them. Greg studied the galactic map carefully. How many quarantined worlds are there? 73 currently. Many have been isolated for thousands of years, their progress carefully managed. This is wrong, Kelly said simply. Every species deserves the right to develop on their own terms. Zaltik nodded. I have come to the same conclusion. That is why I revealed myself when your ship approached. Susan looked at her crew, then back to Zaltik. What can we do? We can't fight ships thousands of years more advanced than ours. No, Zaltik agreed. But you can do something no quarantined species has ever done. Break the silence. The Council's power relies on keeping developing worlds ignorant of each other. He pointed to several planets on the display. These 7 worlds are nearly at your technological level. If Earth can contact them before the Council arrives, we could form an alliance. Susan finished. Precisely. Zaltik's expression grew more intense. Humanity must decide quickly. Will you remain in the dark, or will you light a flame that others can see? The United Nations Security Council chamber buzzed with tension. World leaders and their representatives had gathered for the most critical meeting in human history. The crew of the Horizon I had returned to Earth with Zaltik, bringing evidence of the Galactic Council's deception and plans. This information must be verified, said the Chinese representative, eyeing Zaltik with suspicion. We cannot make decisions based solely on one alien's claims. Andrew Miller, the chief diplomat for the United States, stood up. The scientific data is clear. Our team has confirmed Zaltik's technology is centuries beyond our own. The gravitational distortions approaching our solar system match his description of the Council fleet. President Rosa Garcia of Brazil leaned forward. We have 5 months to prepare. Our options seem limited. On the main screen, images from the Horizon Ida's journey played alongside data collected from Saltic's monitoring station. The evidence was compelling. Humanity had been held back deliberately, and now faced a threat to its future. Military Commander Olivia Bennett approached the podium. Her uniform decorated with service medals, she carried herself with calm authority. "I've reviewed our defensive capabilities," she stated flatly. "Against a civilization thousands of years more advanced, conventional warfare is pointless. We need alternative strategies." The room erupted in debate. Some nations advocated for immediate military buildup. Others suggested hiding our most advanced technology in underground bunkers. A few proposed negotiation, hoping to convince the Council to accept Earth as an equal. "We should appear to comply while secretly developing defenses," suggested the Russian president. "Deception against beings who have studied us for centuries would likely fail," countered the Japanese prime minister. As arguments grew heated, Ella Rodriguez, the lead scientist from Argentina's space program, requested to speak. Though not a political figure, her expertise had earned her a place at this meeting. "We're thinking too conventionally," she said when given the floor. "Zaltic tells us the Council's power relies on keeping developing worlds isolated from each other. Therefore, our solution is not to hide or fight, but to connect." She brought up a diagram on the main screen showing the 7 worlds Zaltic had identified as technological peers to Earth. "I propose we build a massive communication array, powerful enough to reach these worlds directly. We broadcast everything, our science, our culture, our situation, and what we've learned about the Council." "You want to announce our presence more loudly?" the German chancellor asked incredulously. "Exactly," Ella nodded. "If one world resists, they crush it. If 7 worlds unite simultaneously, they face a new situation." Zaltic, who had been silently observing, spoke up. "In 4,000 years, no quarantined world has attempted this. The Council has no protocol for such an event." The debate continued for days as scientists assessed the feasibility of Ella's plan. Engineers confirmed that with Kelly Martinez's gravity technology, a powerful enough broadcast system could be built within 4 months. Nations remained divided. The final decision would require a global referendum, humanity voting on its own future. For 2 weeks, people everywhere discussed the options. Schools held special classes explaining the situation. Religious leaders offered guidance. Scientists presented facts. On voting day, lines formed around polling stations worldwide. People understood this might be the most important vote in history. When the results came in, the decision was clear. 78% of humanity had voted to reach out to the stars. President Garcia addressed the world from the UN podium. "Today, we choose to step out of the darkness. We will not be silenced. We will not be held back. Earth will shine a light so bright that all 7 worlds will see it. And together, we will face whatever comes." Work began immediately on the planetary broadcast array, with countries pooling resources and expertise. The countdown to activation and potential confrontation had begun. Massive construction sites appeared across Earth as nations built the components for humanity's most ambitious project. The global communication array would be unlike anything humans had created before, combining conventional radio technology with the gravitational wave principles Kelly Martinez had discovered. In the Nevada desert, engineers assembled huge transmitter dishes. In Siberia, power generation systems took shape. Underwater cables stretched across oceans to connect the global network. Scientists worked around the clock, fueled by purpose and the looming deadline. Kelly stood on an observation platform overlooking the main transmission hub in Australia's outback. The red desert stretched for miles around the gleaming silver structures. Workers swarmed like ants over the machinery that would amplify Earth's voice across interstellar space. "How's progress?" asked Ella Rodriguez, joining her at the railing. "We're ahead of schedule," Kelly replied. "The gravitational amplifiers are performing beyond expectations. When we activate this array, Our signal will reach all 7 target systems within days instead of years." Ella smiled. "And what are we sending them?" "Everything." Kelly gestured to a facility nearby where hundreds of linguists, scientists, and cultural experts worked. The basics of mathematics and physics, translated into formats that should be universally understandable. Cultural information, music, art, and most importantly, what we've learned about the Council and their suppression tactics. At the United Nations headquarters, Andrew Miller led the diplomatic team creating the official first contact message. After countless drafts and reviews, they had distilled humanity's introduction to a simple, powerful statement. "We are Earth. We have discovered the truth about our place in the galaxy. We extend friendship to all worlds kept in isolation. Knowledge should be shared, not controlled. The time of silence is over. We invite you to respond and join us in creating a new future." With 3 weeks remaining before the Council fleet's estimated arrival, the array neared completion. Final tests showed all systems functioning at optimal levels. On activation day, world leaders gathered at command centers across the globe. The primary control room in Geneva buzzed with activity as technicians ran final checks. "All stations report ready," announced the operations director. "Power systems at full capacity. Gravitational amplifiers synchronized." President Garcia, selected to give the activation command, stepped forward. Behind her stood representatives from every Earth nation. The ceremony was being broadcast to billions of people worldwide. "Today, humanity speaks with one voice," she said. "We choose connection over isolation, knowledge over ignorance, hope over fear." She pressed her palm against the activation scanner. "Initiate broadcast." Energy surged through the global network. At transmission points around the world, huge dishes angled toward their designated star systems. The gravitational amplifiers created space-time distortions that would carry the signal faster and stronger than conventional radio waves. The effect was immediately visible. A blue-white glow surrounded each transmission site, visible even in daylight. As night fell across different regions, observers saw beams of light stretching from Earth toward the stars. Not physical light, but the visual manifestation of the gravitational waves carrying humanity's message. From space, astronauts on the International Space Station watched in awe as Earth began to glow with pulsing energy. "It's beautiful," whispered Commander Frank Wilson, recording the historic moment. Zaltik observed from a secured facility, his expression a mixture of hope and concern. "The Council sensors will detect this immediately," he warned. "They will accelerate their approach." In orbit around Jupiter, hidden monitoring stations belonging to the Galactic Council registered the massive energy spike. Automated systems sent urgent alerts to the approaching fleet. Back on Earth, Kelly Martinez watched the power readings climb as the broadcast continued. "Now we wait," she said quietly. But they didn't have to wait long. Within hours, the first response came. Not from one of the 7 targeted systems, but from a planet much closer, one they hadn't known was inhabited. "We hear you, Earth. We have been waiting for someone to break the silence. We stand with you." Within days, responses flooded in from across the galaxy. 6 of the 7 worlds Earth had targeted responded with messages of solidarity. The 7th remained silent, possibly already under Council control. But most surprising were the 12 additional civilizations that made contact. Worlds Zaltik hadn't known were under quarantine. Each shared stories of mysterious setbacks and technological failures that now made sense. Each had been kept ignorant of the other's existence. "This changes everything," Zaltik said as he studied the incoming transmissions with Earth's scientists. The Council never anticipated this level of coordination. The first visual contact came from Lyrafor, a water-rich world whose inhabitants resembled tall, slender otters with 6 limbs. Their ambassador, speaking through a translation device, addressed the United Nations. "For 3 centuries, we have struggled to advance beyond our planet," the Lyran said. "Now we understand why. We offer our knowledge and resources to the Alliance." Similar pledges came from the silicon-based Dravens, the crystalline Kith, and other species Earth had never imagined. Each brought unique perspectives and technologies. Earth quickly established a coordination protocol, creating a united front against Council intervention. Kelly Martinez's gravitational wave technology was shared freely, allowing allied worlds to upgrade their communication systems. The Council fleet has changed course. Greg Turner announced one morning, 18 days after the broadcast began. They've increased speed and will arrive in 8 days, not 3 weeks. Captain Susan Wright was appointed to lead Earth's newly formed defense force. With knowledge from allied worlds, humans rapidly built a small fleet of ships using the Horizon design, but enhanced with technologies from their new allies. "We can't match their firepower," Susan told the International Defense Committee. "But we might not need to." Jason Lee, a former Navy pilot chosen to command the flagship NSV Unity, reviewed the battle plans. "Our allies say the Council rarely faces resistance. They don't expect a coordinated defense. The plan was risky. Allow the Council's ships to enter the solar system, then use a coordinated gravitational pulse from ships hidden around Jupiter to disrupt their navigation systems." As Earth prepared, more allies joined. A world called Teneb sent plans for shield technology. The Dravens provided improved power systems. The Kith shared sensor technology that could penetrate Council cloaking fields. On the day before the Council fleet's arrival, representatives from 19 worlds held the first virtual Galactic Alliance conference. They agreed on basic principles. Knowledge would be shared freely, all species would retain independence, and together they would stand against Council domination. When Council warships appeared at the edge of the solar system, Earth was ready. They broadcasted one final message. "To the Galactic Council, we know what you have done. The era of suppression is over. 19 worlds stand united. We invite you to join a new galactic community as equals, not rulers." The Council's response was predictable. They launched attack drones toward Earth. "All ships, execute Pattern Omega," Captain Jason Lee commanded from the Unity. 20 ships, most crewed by humans, but some with mixed species teams, activated their gravity drives simultaneously. The coordinated pulse created a ripple in space-time that disabled half the Council drones instantly. From his position on the Unity's bridge, Jason watched as Council ships tried to adapt. "They've never faced this technology before," he observed. "They don't know how to counter it." Zaltic provided crucial insights during the battle. "Their command ship is vulnerable at these coordinates," he advised, highlighting a section on the tactical display. When the Council deployed their main weapon, a device designed to disable all technology on a planetary scale, Earth's allies were ready. Ships from 7 different worlds created a gravitational shield that deflected the energy pulse back toward the Council fleet. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the Council commander requested communication. On screens across Earth, humans saw the face of a Vordari much older than Zaltic. His expression showed something the mighty Council rarely experienced: uncertainty. "This alliance is unprecedented," the commander said. "We must reconsider our approach." Jason Lee responded simply, "The darkness is over. We've turned on the lights, and we're not turning them off again." 1 year after the confrontation with the Council fleet, Earth hosted the first formal Galactic Alliance summit. Representatives from 32 worlds gathered in a specially constructed dome in Geneva. The transparent ceiling revealed the stars above, stars that now represented opportunities, not isolation. Kelly Martinez stood on the observation deck, watching delegates from across the galaxy intermingle. Species of all shapes, sizes, and biological compositions exchanged ideas freely. Some communicated through translators, others through gesture or shared mathematical formulas displayed on floating screens. "I never imagined anything like this," she said as Zaltic joined her. "Nor did I," the Vordari admitted. "In 4,000 years of Council history, nothing similar has occurred." The galactic landscape had transformed dramatically. After their military defeat, the Council had splintered. 2 of the 5 ruling species, including a faction of the Vordari led by Galactic supporters, had joined the alliance. The others maintained their own confederation, but no longer dared suppress developing worlds. Trade routes now connected formerly isolated planets. Ships traveled between alliance worlds daily, carrying goods, technology, and cultural exchanges. Earth had become a central hub due to its role in breaking the silence. In orbit above, the space station Unity served as the Alliance headquarters. Its design incorporated elements from all member worlds, a physical symbol of cooperation. Engineers from 7 species worked there, developing new technologies that benefited all. Greg Turner led a mixed-species research team studying faster-than-light travel. By combining human intuition, Kith crystal technology, and driven energy systems, they had created ships that could travel 10 times faster than anything the old Council had developed. The old powers held back progress deliberately, Greg explained to a group of students touring the facility. By working together, we've advanced more in 1 year than they did in centuries. On Earth, cities had changed. Alien visitors were now common sights in streets and shops. Cultural exchange centers offered classes in extraterrestrial languages and customs. Universities hosted professors from distant worlds, while human teachers shared Earth's knowledge abroad. Not everything had been smooth. Some humans feared the rapid changes. Religious institutions struggled to incorporate the existence of alien life into their teachings. Economic systems needed adjustment to handle interstellar trade. Yet most embraced the new reality. Children drew pictures of alien friends. Artists created works inspired by otherworldly concepts. Scientists collaborated across species barriers to solve shared problems. President Garcia addressed the summit's opening session. 1 year ago, we faced extinction. Today, we celebrate the birth of something unprecedented. A community of worlds united not by force, but by choice. The elderly Lyran representative spoke next. For generations, my people gazed at the stars, unaware that others like us were doing the same. Now we build our future together. After the speeches, delegates signed the Galactic Alliance Charter, a document guaranteeing the free exchange of knowledge, mutual defense, and the right of all intelligent species to develop without interference. As evening fell, Earth put on a display of music and light. Symphony orchestras played alongside alien musicians. Laser shows illuminated the night sky. The event was broadcast to all 32 member worlds. Captain Susan Wright, now Admiral of the Alliance Fleet, found herself standing beside Jason Lee at the celebration. "Remember when we thought we were alone in the universe?" she asked. Jason smiled. "Now we can't get a moment's peace. Did you see the tourism numbers? 3 million visitors from off-world last month alone." Speaking of visitors, Susan said, "I'm heading to Lyra 4 next week to establish their defense training program. Want to join the mission?" "Wouldn't miss it," Jason replied. As the celebration continued around them, Ella Rodriguez approached with a Draven scientist. "We've just received a message from another isolated world," Ella announced excitedly. "They detected our network and are requesting contact." The news spread quickly through the gathering. Another world was stepping into the light, joining the growing community of free civilizations. High above, stars twinkled in the night sky, no longer distant and unreachable, but destinations on humanity's new journey. The darkness had been broken, and the light continued to spread.